brought to you by
The ones who dream are the ones who own the future. What's your next dream? Let's create it together.
Welcome to the candy shop.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Gerry.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome to the Cedric live show.
Thank you very much.
Now, first of all, where are you coming from? I'm just joking.
I was like,
So, this is my set. This is the Cedric live show.
Oh, great.
You know it's live now, so everything you say is going on national TV.
Okay, that's very nice to know. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
I'm good, thank you.
Did you bring my spandex?
It's in a bag, but you have to try it here.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So, welcome to the Cedric live show. These are my guys. You know, I would name them. You can wave at them, whatever it is.
Hi, Cedric's guys.
Yeah, no. You can't do that in an election year because guys might think I'm running for political office.
You are.
Welcome to the Cedric Live Show, sponsored by MTN and hosted at the wonderful Speak Apartments on Wampa Avenue. My guest today is Gerry Opoka. Some of you might have seen her on social media, especially with her company, Soul Fitness Limited. Welcome, Gerry.
Thank you, Cedric.
It's good to have you.
I'm so glad to be here.
I watch you all the time on social media, you and your friends. Are those your friends, by the way?
They are my friends, yes. They become my friends.
But you know, some of these things, how can they be so synchronized if they're not your friends?
No. If you came and danced with us, you would understand.
But I called you the other day and you didn't pick up my call.
Oh my God, I've had this for so long.
Yes, I called you and I was really determined. I was sitting on my bed wearing my spandex. I even had a vest.
You should have sent me a picture.
With Soul Fitness. But you didn't... Because I see, this thing is not fair. You know, I don't see... It's not gender, there's no balance, gender balance.
I've had that so many times, but guys are just not brave enough. They want to come to the class and dance.
Have you ever seen guys in Governor?
Yes, they're there.
Full
I mean, it's
dancing.
dark. It's dark, that's why.
Do you know where you need to go? There's something, you know, I went to a school called St. Mary's College, Kisuri. Right? And the other day I went to the Smack League.
Yes.
And those boys were dancing. You know, when you dance until you literally catch fire, you know, the guys were on fire. You know, they were on fire.
But were they dancing in the dark?
No, they were dancing during the day. That's even worse.
But you see, actually, that goes to what I always tell the guys. Come, but bring a friend or two or three. Because you guys seem to survive better in packs than individually.
Yeah, men hunt in packs.
Yes, so come to the class together.
But you know, guys, they can't...
Guys, some of you are selfish. You want to come on your own and...
No, let me tell you what it is. You know, guys can't agree before midnight. After midnight, you all agree.
Maybe we should have a class at 1 a.m. in the morning.
If you have a class at 1 a.m., your place will be full. You'll see people dancing. So, Gerry, listen, tell me about this Soul Fitness. You know, I've been seeing it. I'm a fan. Tell me about Soul Fitness and what it does.
So I've been dancing. I personally have been doing Zumba since 2014. And I love dancing. Like, I love dancing so much that when I found the dance fitness class, the Zumba class, I just felt like I arrived, literally. So I started teaching my own class in 2014. 2015, towards the end of 2015, I moved to a studio that was my own.
Yes.
And in 2017, I started Soul Fitness. And here I am. We predominantly dance. We do Zumba. I'm a certified Zumba instructor. We've got other genres of exercise right now to support. You know, there's a CrossFit class. We have yoga, power yoga.
What do they call a Zumba instructor? Zombie? I don't know why that came. I don't
We're
know
Zumba instructor.
I don't know why that came into my head. I'm just trying to figure that. That's really corny, but it just sat in my head and it came out.
Yeah, no, we're not zombies. We're Zumba instructors.
Right.
Yeah.
So before you did this, you say it all kicked off in 2014.
Yes.
What were you doing before?
I was a corporate chick.
Right.
I worked with MTN.
Yes.
Actually, I worked with MTN for so many years.
Proud sponsor of the Cedric Live Show.
Yes, yes.
I have to take that opportunity.
And, you know, I feel like I'm such a yellow girl, yellow MTN girl.
I like the way you added MTN.
Yes. Then I left. I worked somewhere else for about 3 years.
Right.
And I decided maybe I'm tired.
Right.
I did the Zumba to just kind of think about what I wanted to do next, because I did not consider myself to be a business person per se. Mm. And because I was really tired of, you know, that world, the formal employment world, I thought I would try and figure out what I wanted to do next. And I loved the thinking part, you know, what I was doing as a stopgap. And that became who I am today. It's really given me life.
So you dance every day?
I dance every day. Sometimes
so
twice a day.
Going to the club on Friday, you're going home to rest?
You know what? I still go to the club and dance.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. And for me, what I do is not work in the least bit. As long as music is playing, I will dance. There are days when I've done three classes a day and then gone out.
May I even get tired when I'm watching your show, because I can imagine what would happen to me.
No.
You know, how long is each class?
An hour and 15 minutes.
So can I come to one of your classes?
Yes, you can. I would love for you to come.
But first, the other thing on Facebook, you switch off.
It's okay.
That first class.
We'll even collect all the phones and cameras.
Yes. So I'll come, and then when I synchronize, you can switch them on again.
You know, that's what actually is. I feel like what we do is so cool. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it does look fun.
But so many people also come and say, I don't think I can dance that well.
Yes.
I always try to tell them it's actually easy. Everyone in that room came in saying, I can't dance. And eventually, you know, they...
But, you know, let me tell you something, Gerry. You know, you're a very nice person. Because I have been to places and watched people who can't dance. Mm-hmm. And it's horrible. It's one of the most traumatic experiences. If you dance next to somebody who can't dance, there's no way you can dance, because they knock you off rhythm. It's like they have bells in their head because they're dancing to something else, right?
No, so, but if you understand that it's a journey, then you sort of accommodate them and their 5 left feet, they reduce eventually to 4, 3, 2, and then they have 1 left foot, and everyone is the same in a shorter time than actually you'd imagine.
But do you ever feel like telling some of them, you know, you're never going to make it?
I have had 2. No, seriously, I've had two ladies, and I've told them that I used to watch you, and every time you came back, I was like, thank you, Lord. Like, I don't know why she's back, but I don't think I can fix this one. Today, no one can tell that they can't dance. In fact, for me, they're my biggest success stories. Everybody can dance. Everyone. No one can convince me they can't dance after those 2 ladies.
Are they your DJs or they actually dance?
They actually dance.
They can dance properly.
And every now and again, I pull them out and I say, when we have many new students, I pull them out and I say, this person or this person could not dance to save their lives. Today, you can't even notice them in the room because they're so perfectly synchronized with the rest of the people. Now,
on to more serious issues.
This is serious also.
No, it's serious. And I'm just going back to maybe some of the things that my team found out. Mm-hmm. Something to do with insomnia. You had insomnia, you couldn't sleep.
Yes.
And the Zumba has helped you sort of overcome this. Well, if you do 3 classes a day, I guess you can sleep on the way home in the car.
You could, yes.
You don't need to wait till you get home.
No, you could actually.
Yeah.
You could. Although for me, dancing then makes me hyper and happy. So I will not sleep immediately. I will just sleep while I was on my way home. I did suffer from insomnia in my second job after leaving MTN, to the point where I went online and started reading, you know, what I should do.
Yes.
By the time I started dancing, I'd managed it a bit, but I've had so many people come to the studio, and one of the things they talk about is they can't sleep, or they do not expect the dance class to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So after their first or second class, they'll come to me and say, oh my God, I slept through the night for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm. So
I know that it helps. It definitely helps.
You think there's an impact on your health?
Most definitely. And physical health.
Mm-hmm.
Things as small as, many times when you go to work out, the thing that we're looking for the most, the number one thing is I want to reduce weight, I want to be smaller.
Yes.
But people realize that they can now go up a flight of stairs without, you know, losing their breath. They can jog a bit. They will realize that some ladies will wear strappy shoes, and someone sent me a long message about wearing her strap shoes all day till 4 p.m. without having to take them off because her feet were not swelling. So small things like that. Someone has come in, excuse me, with, apparently she had a low bone density.
Yes.
And after 2 months of dancing, her doctor said, you know, her bones were thicker.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, even for me, a lot of these things are new. Mm-hmm. But I really believe that Zumba fixes everything.
Really?
Yeah, it
What
does.
about poverty?
Even that. Because when you've danced, you kind of go out feeling like, you know, so you tackle the world in a different light, more positive. You're thinking, I can do it. Yes.
You slept, you know.
Yes, after
hit the ground running.
Exactly.
So, you know, you've done some things, but we're going to go to break. When we come back, I want you to tell me about your little experiment or your little project at Butabika Hospital. So we go to break. The show is sponsored by MTN and hosted at the Speaker Apartments on Wampe Avenue. Stay tuned.
Let's fight Corona together. Use MTN Momo to send money. It's safer, cleaner, and now free of charge for all transactions. Simply dial *165*1# to send money. You can also pay for goods and services using MTN Momo Pay. It's free of charge. Simply dial *165*3# and enter the merchant code to pay. Terms and conditions apply. Stay safe.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Speak Apartments offers you 5-star of the city into the lavish and spacious living room. Those who appreciate the finer things in life. Speak Apartments is also offering and relax defines fine living. Also on the premises is East Africa's largest gym, children's play area, ample parking, Havana restaurant and bar has you covered with a number of cuisines from around the world. If it's fine dining you love, Speak Apartments defines the fun. Located at the edge of Wampeo Avenue, Speak Apartments is your luxury home in the heart of Kampala City.
Welcome back to the Cedric Live Show, sponsored by MTN and hosted at the Speaker Apartments on Wampe Avenue. I'm here with Gerry Opoka. She is the proprietor and CEO of Soul Fitness Limited that specializes in dance and using dance to improve lives, improve health. And Gerry, I heard about a project where you're using dance to help people who had mental health challenges. This was very interesting to me. How exactly does this work?
And everyone wonders. I did as well in the beginning. When I came up with a crazy idea to go and dance in Butabika. One, I did not think the hospital would accept because, I mean, I thought we were going to disrupt, you know, whatever they do. But I wanted to dance with patients who were in the alcohol and drug section purely because I thought they understand the music, they are not crazy per se, they are just struggling with substance misuse.
Yeah, they're being rehabilitated.
Yes, and they did not have any particular form of exercise that they were doing. So I thought it would be nice to dance with them, but the hospital asked me to dance with the rest of the patients. Why I even considered this was from the studio, dancing at the studio. I did not understand why a lot of the people who came through the doors kept coming to me and thanking me so much for giving them back life or a reason to live and saying now they felt more fulfilled and things like that. But over time I realized that sometimes we do not know when we are mildly depressed or when we are going through, you know, like serious stressful situations, that doing exercise and dancing was fixing. So many people did not, even I did not understand in the beginning. But when I realized that that's what it was, it kind of made the idea of going to the hospital not so, you know, out of this world. But when we were asked to dance with the other patients, I worried that they would not follow, that it might cause them to get overly excited, you know, maybe interacting with us.
Create an incident, yes.
Yes. But the hospital was adamant. They said, you only will dance with us if you dance with the other patients. In the end, we managed to get the rest of the patients to come in with those with the substance misuse cases. And it was the most phenomenal class I have ever done. Nothing will, I don't know if another class will ever match that one. These guys gave me 300%, and they allowed me to get to 150%. I jumped so high. I was just screaming like midway through the songs, and it was like I was asking them to scream with me. So when we just got there, we were, not so much me because I'd been a few times to talk to the staff, but everyone else was afraid that they would get attacked or something, and the patients always came and they asked the lady for her iPhone, and she was like, Gerry, what do I do? I said, give it to him. Of course she did not. But we were a bit afraid of getting too close.
Yes.
By the end of that class, we were taking selfies together. We were hugging, and that's the beauty with music. It really cuts across everyone from all walks of life. We just felt like we were one. And I knew then that my life was not going to be the same again. It's been 3 years.
3 years already?
Yes, it's been 3 years we've been dancing in Butavika. So in fact, it's almost 4.
How does it work? You go there every week?
I go once a month. I can only afford once a month. I've been doing a free class since.
Oh, it's free?
Yes, it's free. I've been doing, so I go on every first Wednesday of the month. But I think twice I've not been able to go because I was out of town. And when I went to the hospital again, I found patients who I did not even think, they're drugged or they're so unwell. I did not think they could recognize anything. But they've asked me, are we dancing today? And that's when I knew that, it must be doing something for them. For me, yes, I was getting a lot of healing from, things that I did not know I had. I just felt like there was either a cleansing or...
How has this helped the patients? I know they have that once a month with you.
Yes.
How does it, what in your interpretation,
how
has it helped them?
I think the biggest thing for me from the interaction has been that we are not medical practitioners.
Yes.
Neither are we in there as patients.
Yes.
We are just ordinary people who keep going back.
Right.
And that is interaction that they lack. Because of the stigma, so many people only go to hospital with a purpose to visit another patient or to see a doctor about someone who's not yet in hospital that maybe they need to help. It's never to spend time with the patients for nothing. And so many of them have said so. I had a young man tell me that the sessions we have with them in the hospital are so important for him, more than the group therapy they have, because their biggest worry is how they will be received by the rest of the world when they come out. Going in is difficult because of stigma. Families are, worried that they will be judged, the individuals will be ridiculed. So people pretend for a long time. They put their heads in the sand. Once they've gone into the hospital and they realize that, we didn't die, no one has, then even the person who's suffering is okay because they're in an environment that is for them.
Right.
They're no longer, worried about being judged while in there. The problem is when you come out, you are a Butabika case. You've added Butabika to whatever issues you had before.
Right.
Now, should you get upset in a circumstance that warrants anyone to get upset, people are like, I think she's losing it again. He's losing it again. So people are no longer seen or heard, as who they are. They are now struggling to, to say, I'm fine, I'm so many things. And that just, for a lot of them, causes them to withdraw. And many times, they will find themselves back in the situation that got them into the hospital. So the biggest impact for me that I believe is just being able to have interaction with people outside of that field, either as a patient or as a doctor.
Now, when I watch your show, especially, not your show, your class,
yes,
on social media, that's where I watch it mostly, especially Facebook, and it makes me happy. Instagram, because I always comment. I think you see me commenting. It makes me so happy. And I also think to myself that this is a business. This is something that is bound to grow, and it probably has grown.
Yes, it has.
So Soul Fitness Limited, of course, now you've gone into helping people who have mental health issues or addiction issues or whatever it may be. But of course, you're going to expand. Yeah. Now, do you run it as a business, or you run it as something that you...
A cool thing.
No, something that you like to do? Maybe make a few shillings here and there, but do you run it as a business?
I'm now starting to run it as a business.
Right.
When I started, it was more, I'm passionate about this, and, people are paying, and what they're paying can pay the rent, we can get by. But
right.
Because I enjoyed it so much, I enjoyed the interaction with other people, I was not looking at it as a proper business.
Right.
And, after doing it for so long, I was like, okay, maybe we need to start getting a bit more organized.
Because you can't be everywhere at the same time.
Exactly.
And you might have to have multiple classes.
Yes. So then I started thinking, and for me, getting other instructors in was so hard because it was so personal.
Yes.
It's how I danced, it's how I enjoyed the music, I was at the front of the class and all these things. So I was thinking, how do I get another person? How do I replicate myself?
Right.
And if I can't replicate myself, how do I stand back and watch another person try to do what I would like them to do without jumping in?
These are trials and tribulations of growing a business.
Yes.
Because it comes from your soul.
Yes.
And of course, you want that to translate through people, but for whatever reason, sometimes it's a trial and error thing.
It is.
Yeah,
it
because
is, yes.
people are working.
Exactly.
So their passion,
them,
maybe, it's not maybe not their passion,
yes.
but they're good at it.
Yes.
So it becomes difficult. But I think, you're on the right track, and, I guess a role model as well for I guess, young girls who want to break out and try and do. Yeah. And I see more and more of them now. Yes. I see them in fashion, I see
yes.
them in music,
yes.
I see them in, now of course, in dance. But, I see a lot of them trying to do their thing.
I think for me the big thing is, for what I've learned is for us to remain coachable.
Right.
Or teachable. Because some people will come in and say, you're doing this wrong, you need to do X, Y, Z and all kinds of things. For me, that just blocks my mind. I just feel like I'm, like the pressure is too much.
Let me just do me. Leave me alone,
and I do me a lot these days. I take my time. I try not to stress about anything. And I have to enjoy the process. I must enjoy the process.
Yes.
But definitely, yes. Now we are turning into a real business with, everything, proper registration, accounting, everything is proper.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, you've done really well. And God bless you for what you're doing, using dance to improve lives. And I'm sure there are many people out there like Cedric who aspire to attend Zumba classes. And please, this is the lady, Gerry Opoka, Soul Fitness Limited. We'll be right back with Dr. Kasenene, who's a medical practitioner, who has talked about the importance of living well, eating well. And maybe, Gerry, you can jump in when he comes in, and we can talk about this. And this show is brought to you by MTN and hosted at Speak Apartments. And we'll be right back with Dr. Kasenene, and Gerry will still be here.
Let's fight coronavirus together. Coronavirus is spread through sneezing, coughing, and contact with contaminated surfaces. To avoid the disease, wash your hands with soap regularly and don't spit in public. Avoid crowds and stay home if you have flu. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Follow the guidelines on coronavirus from Ministry of Health. Please avoid sharing unconfirmed information. Call 0800 203 033 or 0800 100 066 for help. This message is from Ministry of Health and supported by
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back to the Cedric Live Show. We're joined by Dr. Paul Kasenene, a qualified medical doctor specializing in nutritional, functional, and lifestyle medicine. Dr. Kasenene, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cedric.
You know, when you came in, you said that you beat me at tennis. Now, you know how this sporting thing is very competitive. We take great offense to such things, but it's okay. Because if you had beaten me, you wouldn't be a doctor today. You'd be doing something else. But anyways, welcome to the show. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And thank you for honoring the invitation. We're here with Gerry. I'm sure you heard her story before.
Yes, definitely.
She's into healthy living, very much like what you put out there on a daily basis. And of course, I'm a big follower of both of you on social media. You're two of my favorite. They call them twats, twats.
Tweeps.
Tweeps, yes, tweeps, twats, whatever, Yeah, you guys are Gerry more on Facebook.
Yes.
I see her dancing, and I don't know if you've seen her dancing.
Yeah, I've danced with her before once.
Mm-hmm.
No, for real?
Yeah, I beat you to it.
He's done. So he beat you at tennis many years back, and then he's danced before you.
Now we're
with
going
us.
to do this thing.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Whatever. He's beaten me now to the punch. So and then he became a doctor. Us guys are just here on TV, doing what we have to do, trying to get paid. But anyway, we're proudly sponsored by MTN. So let me not take that away from anyone. And we're at the wonderful Speak Apartments on Wampo Avenue. You should come check them out. They're really nice. So, doctor.
Yes.
First of all, there's so many types of, when I watch you online, I know you do a lot of, you're an activist for, nutritional, functional, lifestyle medicine. What does it mean? What does that mean?
So basically, I'll start with the last. Nutritional medicine is basically using food as a way to enhance health, wellness, and prevent disease and also treat disease.
Right.
Lifestyle medicine is really understanding that our lifestyle impacts our health in many ways, and there's no way we can help people to be healthy unless they actually work on living a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
And functional medicine is a branch of medicine that arose because the medical community was concerned that we were not winning the battle in terms of chronic disease. And they realized that the focus had always been on treating the symptom of the disease, and the focus needs to change to treating the cause of the problem and understanding what triggers or makes people unwell. And when you focus on that, that's functional medicine, because you're actually not using a medicine-based approach, you're using more of a natural-based approach.
Right. So prehab is better than rehab, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
That sort of approach.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, I learned a little bit of that, you know, when I was playing tennis. You know, you need to prepare. Don't wait to lose or hurt yourself first.
Yeah.
Now, what influenced you? I mean, you know, when people get into medicine, you know, they tend to then, you know, practice as a GP for a while, and then they go in and they specialize in, you know, neurosurgery. They become pediatricians or gynecologists or whatever, orthopedic surgeons. Why didn't you go into one of those particular channels?
So look, I wanted to actually be a heart surgeon all my life, but right. Again, when I finished medical school, I was somehow drawn towards infectious disease, a lot of research into HIV.
Right.
And so I was working in a busy HIV facility. But as I worked, my health started to change in very subtle ways. And one day I went for a check, just like we asked people to do, and my cholesterol levels were a bit high, and my pressure was borderline. And the doctor who saw me, I remember after a very short interaction, he actually reached out for his notepad and prescribed for me a cholesterol-lowering drug, a statin. And that day actually changed my life, because I said, first of all, this is what it's like to be a patient. Mm-hmm. And then the doctor sentences you to a lifetime of drugs, because that's the deal. You start these drugs, you don't stop. And I was 28, and I'm like, it can't be like this. And so I began to think, no, there must be another way. And then I met other doctors in the US who promoted healthy eating as a way to get healthy. They sounded ridiculous, but I actually gave it a shot. And within a year, my cholesterol was perfect, blood pressure was perfect. I lost a lot of weight, my allergies went down, my asthma disappeared.
Your asthma disappeared?
Yeah, I can comfortably say it's about 7 years I've not had one asthmatic attack. Yeah. And I had so many of them. I had many inhalers just because anytime I could have one. It was the first thing I packed when I traveled. Now I don't even think about it. So I wouldn't say I'm cured, but my body no longer gets triggered by these normal things that tend to trigger attacks. So I figured this is what patients want. People don't want doctors and medicine. People want to be well and feel good. And so we need to understand that people go to doctors when they're sick. So the doctors need to be able to educate them and lead them in a different direction that focuses not just on treating the disease, but understanding how they got there, what they can do to reverse it. And believe it or not, 80% of the time you don't need meds. You just need a change of your lifestyle, diet, and things like that. So that's my journey. I've been doing this now for 8 years. When I began, people thought, look, everybody else is doing it, but I'm like, look, I know what I'm talking about. I believe in it. I was my first client, and I worked on my people close to me. And then I realized, you know, people actually long for this information. It's not something that is easy, but it's something that is worthwhile.
Right.
So that's what I do now, and I really enjoy doing what I do.
So you actually have your practice right now, WellCare, that's what you focus on. People come to see you to change their lifestyle, change their nutrition, change what they have to do. Let me ask you something. Does it differ from person to person in terms of diet? Or is it there's one rule that applies to everybody?
So basically, there are general principles that will be applicable across the board.
Yes.
But that's generally when someone is healthy.
Yes.
Now, when you see somebody who has a health condition, we need to appreciate that people have 3 different aspects. The genes will be different, the environment will be different, the lifestyle will be different. And so many times you have to personalize a plan for somebody based on their unique circumstances. And then when it comes to food, at an individual level, there are always differences. Like some people will be sensitive to a particular food, some people have more energy needs, others have more health needs. So there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
But like when you're on social media, you can actually give some general advice that most people can adopt and can start to see some changes.
Fantastic. So how does this, Gerry, what do you think?
I agree with him a lot, because when people also come to the studio and they want, you know, someone will say, I want to lose X amount of weight.
Yeah.
The first thing that we do is understand, what are you looking for? normally what they're looking for is they want to feel healthy, feel lighter, and just feel more alive. And the approach that we use is not to go on a diet per se, but we just look at the foods. And I always say to people that what we learned in primary school, you know, the basics of good feeding and nutrition, a balanced diet, still carries till today. Sometimes we want someone to say, no, in the morning eat 2 beans with like half an egg, and then they want to follow. But then we normally go back and discuss. And I say to people also, look at your plate. Are you happy with the proportions and the portions and things like that? Just think about how the food is prepared. Think about what goes into the food. Just be conscious about it. And then you'll realize that, you know, maybe I should take some food off, certain things should be cut out. Also, after you've eaten the food, if you've not eaten too much, you can tell that your body agrees with it or doesn't agree with it. And you start to pick out things actually, because again, like you said, different people, you know, react differently to different things. Different people have, you know, certain foods available to them easier. But I say, work with what you have, but listen to your body. It's really the best way to know what works and what doesn't work.
So, doctor, you know, these days, there's so many diets out there, you know. You open a Facebook page, you know, this diet, then there's keto, I don't know, keto.
It's like a killer success story.
Yeah, I see a guy, then he looks like this. The one of the 6-pack, I'm wondering. You know, and by the way, this thing is recent. When we were growing up, I didn't, I guess because I was in good shape already, I didn't think about it. But now it's elusive, you know, that 6-pack. It's very elusive. But the thing is that, anyway, going back to what I was saying, there's so many diets. And I guess the biggest challenge is which ones actually work. So my question to you, doctor, I suppose is, you know, are any of these diets actually, you're not a big fan, I see it on your social media page of diet, you know, on diets, but do they actually work? And if that doesn't work, because some people get desperate, you know, you pass a certain weight level and then you know, you just, you know, let me just diet. But anyway, we'll be right back from commercial, and I hope I'll give the doctor some time to think about his response. The show is brought to you by MTN and hosted at Speak Apartments on Wampo Avenue. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Let's fight coronavirus together. Coronavirus is spread through sneezing, coughing, and contact with contaminated surfaces. To avoid the disease, wash your hands with soap regularly and don't spit in public. Avoid crowds and stay home if you have flu. Protect yourself and your loved ones. Follow the guidelines on coronavirus from Ministry of Health. Please avoid sharing unconfirmed information. Call 0800 203 033 or 0800 100 066 for help. This message is from Ministry of Health and supported by
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back to the Cedric Live Show, sponsored by MTN and hosted at the wonderful Speak Apartments on Wampo Avenue. I'm here with Gerry Opoka, the CEO and proprietor of Soul Fitness Limited, a dance company that has had a lot of impact, not just on people, but on people who have mental health issues. So she's using dance to try and improve their lives. I'm also here with Dr. Kasenene of WellCare, which is, I suppose, would you call it a medical practice? Or
a health and wellness practice.
A health and wellness practice. And he's here to educate us on healthy living. You know, what do you do to prevent yourself from getting ill? And before we went to commercial, we were speaking about diets. And, you know, there's so much out there. You know, how do we deal with this, you know? I'm sure there are people watching the show. How do we deal with these diets, you know, that are flying out, keto, the abs, this, turn on your head, stand here, do 200 sit-ups. And it's all around sit-ups. Can they do, is there any other exercise we can do?
So there are any other exercises you can do. But to answer your question, you know, the thing with diets is they are mushrooming because there's a need. Yeah. People want to be healthier, they want to lose weight, they want to feel better. And so people come up with all these concepts that people can actually seem to fix their problems quickly.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, what people need to understand is that there's really no quick fix solution, and we should keep this simple. But I can really understand, because even when I was studying this nutrition and trying to figure this out, I got confused. I have two people I look up very highly to in this field. One is called Joel Fuhrman. He's the guy who mentored me in nutrition. He says, don't eat meat. And there's another guy called Mark Hyman. He's the head of the Functional Medicine Institute. He says, eat meat. In fact, eat a lot of meat.
It's good for you.
It's good for you. So I'm thinking, how can two experts say two different things and both be correct? So if we can be confused, then everybody else can be confused. Some people say, eat meat, don't eat meat. Eat milk, drink milk, don't drink milk. Eat fat, don't eat fat.
Eggs and things.
So there's a lot of information out there. Now, what I found is that we need to keep it simple, and we need to keep it closer to nature and closer to home. I think the people we should look up to are those who have lived the longest and the healthiest lives, not those who have the most scientific knowledge. And the principles of being healthy are very simple. I think there are 7 of them, but I'll just share maybe 2 or 3 very quickly. The first is 90% of our diet at a minimum should come from plants, because we are primates. And plants, yes, plant food. Minimum of 90%. It could go all the way to 100%.
Okay.
Well, if we could eat that.
Go on. Yeah.
And it's all about our digestive system. It's all designed to eat handle mostly plants.
So when you say plant-based, are you talking about vegetables and is that what you're talking about?
So
lettuce,
fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, avocado, you know, matoke, maize, anything in plant kingdom.
Matoke?
Yeah, matoke is a plant food.
So it's good?
It's to a certain extent. In moderate quantities.
Yeah, not in kilos.
Not in very high quantities, because it's a very carbohydrate-rich food, and if you eat more carbs than you need, then the body has to store them as fat. So maybe that's another principle I'll talk about quickly, but the second principle is 90% of the food should be real food, unprocessed, unrefined, the way nature gave it to us. Every time we change it, and there are some good reasons to change food for food scarcity reasons and things like that, but every time you refine or process a food, it stops being as healthy as it could be. And I always tell people, every time you find food in a box, in a paper, in a tin, in a cavera, that's not what you should be eating. You should be eating things from trees, from plants. If you go to the market, I like to give this example, and you see avocados, you don't need anybody to put a label to say, you know, there's 50 grams of potassium, and, you know, it's just healthy. Yeah. But if you go and buy some avocado powder, then somebody has to convince you what is in there. So we must eat natural, very simply. Another principle is we must try and get half of our food from fruits and veggies, half of the food. Not, and this is where the whole carbohydrate discussion comes in. Because typically when we serve food in Uganda, we'll find that 70% of the plate is carbohydrate-rich food. Yeah. And sometimes you have 8, 9 types on the plate. Yes. You have rice and matoke and chapati and kalo and cassava on one plate. And then the vegetables, the greens are a very small proportion. And so the food may not be unhealthy, but the proportions are wrong. Yeah. Right. So if you have 50% veggies, then 25% the starchy foods, and 25% the protein-rich foods, which can be mostly legumes like beans and peas, and in moderation animal foods. I'm not against animal foods. I just think we don't need more than 10% in our diet.
Right.
Yeah. So
just a little piece.
Yeah, just a little piece. 300 grams a week to be precise.
Oh. 300 grams? Oh.
Yeah, a drumstick of chicken is 100 to 150 grams. So 2 of those a week, and that's it.
Wow.
That's what our grandparents did.
These guys are about to switch off the camera. Yeah, that's
true though. They didn't eat that much.
But anyways, I mean, I think, listen, if that's what it is, that's what it is. You know, you can't do anything about it. I think I see a lot of people sometimes biting back on social media about what they think. But I think that's the the whole trauma of not being able to eat meat, you know, it's traumatizing, you know, to be able to go to a barbecue and eat just 2 drumsticks, right? And you have to budget that the whole week.
And that's for the week.
And that's for the week. You know, I think that, so, you know, how do you make, I know eating is not a sport, right? It's not supposed to be, I guess,
complicated or scientific.
It's not supposed to be complicated, but of course we come from cultures where we celebrate many of our occasions. I'm sure you both know.
Yes.
With food. Yes. You know, if you go to a wedding, you eat food. If you visit someone, they give you tea. Yeah. If you go to some places, they give you milk. If you go to other places, they give you... It's all... We celebrate food a lot. Yes. You know, we're not mean like our friends in the West. You go to visit them and then they give you water. No, that can't work. So, how are we able to create this balance?
Look, I mean, I always tell people that life should be simple and our eating should not be complicated.
Yes.
And there should always be room for a little bit of pleasure in your diet, but it should always be restricted or limited. My thinking is we should reserve this for the weekend, okay? Monday to Friday, just be healthy, be disciplined, be committed, do this for your body. And then once in a while, if you go for a wedding, a party, then you can have a little bit of extra. Yes. But still you should not indulge because, you know, I mean, when I post, someone will send you like a picture of pork, you know, like just as a rebuttal, they'll be like, so this is my lunch, like a whole plate of like pork, like 3 kilos. And there's 2 guys on this. Now, I think that's going overboard. But if you have 2 pieces of pork, or 2 sticks of pork rather, then that's the balance. I think there's always room for chocolate, ice cream, whatever you want, but minimum, like once or twice a week. And I'm writing a book, it will be out maybe in 2 or 3 weeks. It's called Eat Your Way to Wellness. One of the things that puzzled me was all this confusion. So I took time and I asked my mother's aunt how they ate.
Yes.
Because she lived way into her 90s, and all my grandparents, same thing. And I realized that nature then and life then somehow made it easy for them to be healthy because there was no junk, no processed foods. There were all these things were not there, so they didn't have to battle with these choices. Now we are bombarded with all these things. They taste great, and by the way, human beings are genetically wired to crave sugar, fat, and salt. It's a genetic thing, and the food industry knows this. So they make foods that taste great with not enough salt, enough fat, enough sugar, so we are attracted to them. But there's no regard to your health. So what we are saying is that, look, make a decision and say, let me eat natural most of the time, and once in a while,
indulge
a little bit. I would discourage indulging, but you know what? We're all human.
Yes.
And you don't want to go to someone's place, they've invited you, and you say, look, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. Yes. It's not like that.
You might not last very long either. Or you might not get another invitation, because word spreads fast.
You know, it reminded me when I got married, my mother-in-law, initially she's like, you know, out there you can, you know, be very, you know, selective, but here just take it easy. So I actually learned to, I actually enjoy eating meat at her place because she cooks very good meat.
Yes.
So that's the only place pretty much where I'll have
But meat. You know, you're a doctor, don't you have that thing like that? I see it in movies. You know where it goes beep, 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 beep. Then you look at the thing and say, guys, I gotta go. Because you can get military guys and doctor. Us guys in business, where are you going? Which meeting? Who is meeting now?
No, just give me a reason to use, an excuse the next time.
Yeah, you just send me an SMS and you say, in 20 minutes, send me that beep, beep, and I'll send it, you know? So, Gerry, what do you think? You know,
I think...
do you eat meat?
I love pork. My God, I'm one of those people. I mean... I will say now and confess to the world and with the doctor here that I eat pork pretty much 5 times a week.
Oh.
I know.
That's more than you should, but...
I know. No, but I don't like chicken. I don't do anything else. So I'm trying to... I know, right? We also live life. But
I hope I won't see a soul pork joint next to soul fitness.
No, you won't. No.
You know how things can get too much cash.
This could be as small as a piece, just a piece.
I don't find you with Mama Gerry selling pork banga.
No. But so part of the struggles that I see that people have. So if you want to eat healthy, you have to plan your meals. You cannot just go to work and at 9 a.m. you want to have breakfast, and you will find a healthy breakfast. You're going to find chapati, samosas, you know, mandazi, the cakes, the things that we want to stay away from. If at lunchtime you're thinking about eating a salad, for example, and there are days when I want to eat a salad because I just feel like I'm eating water, like I'm going to be clean and light afterwards, and you know, if I have not planned, if I've not bought cucumbers and tomatoes and things and kept them close to me at the studio, at the office, I will then think, and then I will eat matoke and whatever else, because that's what's available. So people have to make a conscious decision. If you're going to eat healthy, if you're going to eat, you know, a bigger portion of plant-based food, even if you're going to go to a restaurant, you have to think, how is it cooked? Are my vegetables boiled and boiled and boiled until they cannot be boiled, you know?
Till they've lost all the nutrients.
Yes, until they've lost all the nutrients. That's what we have to think about. I also like that he talks about, you know, going back to what our forefathers did and how they ate. If you look at a new phenomenon, well, it's supposed to be new, that is also the buzz now, is intermittent fasting. They say 14 to 16 hours not eating. And I thought back, I said, very clever. Our forefathers, you know, ate early in the evening because they didn't have electricity. So they sat in the evenings and ate together so that they could see who was taking more food than the other, because it was more, you know, communal. But when they woke up in the morning, they went to the garden and worked until about 10 or 11, came back home and ate. Now, they've got enough rest in the night and allowed the body to, you know, regenerate and fix itself and all that. They've gone out and got some exercise in, and then they've sat down and had their breakfast.
So before we go, I want to ask something. I want to do a project with both of you, and I'd like to be your guinea pig. So I'm going to eat like Dr. Kasenene and dance like Gerry. And then I want to see how I look and feel in, what is it? What month are we in?
This is March.
March. So we're going to document this, eh?
Yes.
We're going to have some fun. How's this?
That's a great
Because I'll tell
idea.
you why. You know, our people, they don't respond well to literature.
Yes.
Writing.
Yes.
They respond well to visual. You know, when something is visual, you know, like you see when people are running up and down the streets in all sorts of colors, people respond well to those things.
Yeah.
But I want to do a project with both of you.
Can
we do it?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
We are up for it.
Yeah? Okay. So this is what
Yay,
we're going to do.
to dance.
Right? So, but there's one thing. This is one thing. What I'm not going to do is put on spandex.
I will excuse the spandex.
I'll put on my sweats.
Just for this project,
I'll put on my sweats. I'll wake up. I'll go see the good doctor here. Right? He'll tell me what I need to do. Yeah. And I'm going to follow it to the T. I'm actually quite good. Like if I decide that, okay, this week I'm not going to eat meat, I'll not eat meat. My challenge comes on the weekend. But since the doctor has said, you know, those 2 chicken pieces and can I have a beer?
For another discussion, but one beer a month is fine. Okay, no, I was just trying to get you, but so basically no more than
so what
drinks a week.
We'll take the law of averages. So we're going to say, you know, this week if I dance Zumba, how many times a week? If we do this project?
3 times a week.
3 times a week? Yes. And I do 5 days of Dr. Kasenene's proposed nutrition plan?
6 days. You'll have 1 day off.
What about public holidays?
If there's a public holiday in that week, that's the day off.
Okay. So, guys, thank you for watching. And guys, thank you for coming on the Cedric
Thank
Live
you
show.
so much
Thanks
for having us. It's been great fun.
I hope you've had some fun.
Yes.
And we're going to do this project. We have to find a name for it. Can we find a name for it before we go? What are we going to call it, Doc?
The Cedric Challenge.
Yes.
The Cedric Wellness Challenge. And we can ask guys to join you. Social media. Bring them.
We're starting. We'll do this thing. And thank you very much for watching the Cedric Live show. Thank you to my guests for joining the show. And this show is sponsored by MTN. Thank you for the support. and hosted at the wonderful Speak Apartments on Wampa Avenue. Thank you for joining us. Tune in next week.
Was brought to you by
The ones who dream are the ones who own the future. What's your next dream? Let's create it together.